The strongest hero gets betrayed by humanity and joins the demon army before marrying the demon queen. Leo lived in a fantastical world of magic and monsters and was the best knight in the entire world. One day, the demon queen's army attacked the human kingdom, and he was selected to fight for the kingdom with other heroes. Leo could do more jobs than Johnny Sins, and he was a master swordsman, archer, and magic user, among other things. He was so incredibly strong that the entire demon army was scared of him. But his teammates were bots, and he had to carry them the entire season. The archer was terrible at close range, the swordsman couldn't cut a tomato with his sword, and the mage was just a healer in disguise. One day, Leo had enough and, like a total Giga-Chad, ditched his entire party. He decided that he could deal with the entire demon army alone and didn't need anyone else to save the world. He started by destroying small platoons of the demon army single-handedly, and finally the demon queen Akida sent her 4 elite generals to hunt Leo down. The first guy was Edward, whose mom had an affair with a dragon, and that gave him tough scales all over his body, superior physical strength, and impenetrable defense. Leo would have been unable to defeat him if it was just a sword fight, but luckily Edward was a simpleton who knew nothing except head-on fights. Leo used his magic abilities to render him defenseless and quickly whooped his ass. The next battle he had was with an emo assassin named Mearns, who was incredibly fast and stealthy, earning her a position in the Elite Four. He encountered her in the church of a town, and she attacked him relentlessly, dealing a bit of damage. However, that was all the while Leo wasn't defending himself as he was chanting an incantation. He used a wide area spell and completely destroyed the entire church with his magic to defeat the emo assassin. The third person he had to fight was a wolf girl named Lily, who had hit her head on a pole and lost her memory while she was searching for the hero. So when she met Leo under a tree on a rainy day, he had pity on her and ended up taking care of her for the time being. One day, she ended up falling face first and her memories returned to her. She immediately tried to attack Leo, but he defeated her easily, after which she fell in love with his alpha male personality. The final member of the Elite Four was a powerful mage named Shutina. Leo used a high-level anti-magic barrier against her that made her as useless as a white crayon. That forced the poor mage to fight the hero physically, which went as well as you can imagine for her, as she was super weak physically. With the Elite Four defeated, the final enemy was the demon queen Akida herself, and she was a tough cookie. She transformed into a giant monster. It took a whole lot of effort for Leo to defeat her, but he refused to kill her because he knew that she was not a bad person. While the demon army invaded the human kingdom, he saw her stopping her forces from causing unnecessary bloodshed and keeping destruction to a minimum. After literally destroying the entire demon army all by himself, he went back to the kingdom, hoping to be welcomed like Messi after he won the World Cup. However, all he faced was coldness and fear toward him. One day, he was summoned by the king, who acknowledged that Leo had helped them immensely by defeating the demon queen's army by himself. However, the king was a people pleaser and could not ignore the demands of his subjects, so he exiled Leo from his kingdom. Leo started living as a homeless person and slowly started getting resentful towards the people of this kingdom. One day, he overheard a bunch of people talking about how the demon queen Akida is trying to recreate her army, but as of now, it is pretty pathetic, and even a bunch of teens with the power of friendship can defeat it. Leo thinks about it and finally decides that he will join the demon army because if the world wants to eradicate him, he will eradicate the world before. He visits the court of the demon queen and walks up to Akida and her generals. Akida is shocked to see the hero in front of her, and he tells her that he has no ill feelings and is here just to show her a presentation he has created. He shows her a bunch of charts and graphs, talking about his past achievements, his combat and strategic experience, and how he defeated the entire demon army himself. That is why he wants Akida to consider letting him join her army. He feels pretty confident about how his presentation went and thinks he's got the job, but Akida straight up burns him. Leo is shocked as she tells him off because not so long ago he was the demon army's public enemy #1. He once again takes out his chart and explains how he will work hard to make up for her losses and that she will not find anyone better than him. Akida is in no mood to hear him out and starts shooting a bunch of fireballs at him, throwing him out of her court. Before leaving the castle, however, he convinces the 4 elite generals to have a conversation with him. After many attempts, he is able to convince them to give him a chance and let him help the demons take over the world. The 4 generals give him his much-needed break, but tell him to lay low and not let Akida know about this deal. Leo sleeps over in the castle, and the next day he meets up with Shutina, who is pretty overworked because ever since Leo destroyed their army, she has had to deal with everything important herself. He asks for the list of tasks that she is responsible for, and Shutina hands over a list so long that it reminds me of all the reasons girls don't date me. Leo is surprised at how much she has to do all on her own and asks her why she doesn't distribute the work to other people. She replies that most of the work can only be done by her and she doesn't trust other people to do it perfectly. Even if she gives some tasks to other people, her OCD will make her keep an eye on them constantly, leading to only extra work. Leo selects one of the jobs, which is filling the mana reserves of the castle, to ensure the proper functioning of everything present inside the castle. Shutina explains that only she can fill up the reserves because the frequency of her magic has been fed to them for a long time, and if the wavelength changes, the entire reservoir will explode. Leo simply smirks and tells her that he will match his magic wavelength with hers. She looks at him, realizes that he is skilled enough to do it, and tells him to go ahead with it. Leo changes his getup, wears a black armor, and adopts a fake name, so that other people don't know who he is. He goes downstairs and within half an hour, comes back upstairs and tells Shutina that the job is done. She is surprised but tells him that if one thing is finished, he can start with the other jobs, but he tells her that he is going to take a break as his mana is depleted. He lies down on the couch and uses a spell called the Magic Eye, which allows him to spy on others. Leo tells Shutina that he will rest for a bit and watch her work, and she tells him to do as he pleases, but to be quick about it. An hour passes and he is still lazing on the couch. Shutina walks up to him and tries to lift him up, but he uses gravity magic to make himself heavier, and she returns back to her seat in a huff. Finally, after 2 hours, Shutina had enough. She gets extremely angry and summons her staff, telling Leo that she went against Akida's wishes to grant him a chance at redemption, and this is how he is paying her back. Leo gets up, seemingly scared, and tries to talk her down, but she is not willing to listen to him anymore. However, before she can attack, a white-haired girl enters the room, telling Leo that she is finished replenishing the mana reserves. Shutina looks extremely confused and asks what the hell is going on. Leo explains that when he went out for 30 minutes, he went over to the blacksmith's area where he designed a special pendant that can adjust anyone's mana to the same wavelength as Shutina's. He then gave the pendant to the girl in question, who proceeded to fill up the mana reserves using her own magic without worrying about the wavelength. He tells Shutina that now she won't have to deal with fill-in reserves ever again, as it will be taken care of by the white-haired girl. The girl leaves the room, and then Leo tells Shutina that apart from that, while he was laying down, he was also keeping an eye on all of her work. He has prepared a new work plan that separates the work that only she can do from the work that can be done by other people as well. Shutina seems to be overrun by emotions at this point, and she quickly apologizes to Leo for how she was calling him a slacker while he was actively trying to figure out ways to make her job easier. Later that night, Shutina calls Leo to her chambers to help her shoot for her OnlyFans, but he is not in the mood. So instead of that, they discuss the bad situation the Demon Queen's army is in. She tells him that they are running very low on food and other supplies, and the following day, Lily is going to an island called Largo to bring in the supplies. Shutina tells him that these supplies are very important and must reach the castle in time. Leo asks her what the problem is, and she just hands over a report that was made by Lily after the completion of her previous task. The report was a bunch of gibberish crayon drawings because Lily is as dumb as a person can possibly be. Shutina explains that all of her reports and plans have been like this, which results in miscommunication and pointless delays. She wants Leo to leave for Largo alongside Lily, so he can monitor her and make sure she learns to handle things smoothly and efficiently. Shutina explains that 3,000 years ago, a demon king led an attack on humans but lost the battle. Later, most of the demons found peace with the humans and started living together, but it wasn't the same for the dragon folk when they tried it. Being a dragon folk in human territory was like being gay in Russia, and they were always discriminated against and hunted down. This forced the dragon folk to shift their entire population to a deserted island called Largo, where they still reside today. According to Shutina, these dragon folk are the only people who were helping the demon army when they were suffering losses, and they are the only reason that the demon army is being rebuilt. Leo asks her why she doesn't send Edward there then, because he is also one of the dragon people and can probably deal with them the best. She claims that she was planning to send Edward, but then she realized that if he goes there, he will do all of the work and Lily will learn nothing. Leo agrees with this reasoning and tells her that he will go with Lily. The following day, Lily and Leo both leave the kingdom to reach the mythic island of Largo, alongside hundreds of demons and beast people to help them transport all of the supplies. They arrive at the island, but Leo is completely overwhelmed by how disorganized everything is. Lily makes a game out of everything and even races through the cities to see who can reach the transporter with the supplies the fastest. Leo chases after her, asking her to stop because she causes great destruction while running through the city, and that might eventually turn the dragon folk against them. He finally catches up with her at the transporter and asks her to stop playing around and get to work. Lily, however, tells him that she is working and tells the demons to quickly put the supplies through the transporter and then to take a break after lunch. Leo looks around the island and thinks about how inefficient everything is here. All demons are given the same job of carrying heavy loads, irrespective of their strength, and there is no division of labor. He begins planning how they can make it all work efficiently by just dividing the work according to the abilities of the demons. Leo looks around and spots that the maintenance of the area hasn't been done in quite a long time, so he asks one of the demons to work on it. The demon plainly tells him to go away as he only listens to the orders of the general. Leo goes back to his tent with his head in his hand because Lily is as dumb as a brick wall. He gets a migraine trying to think of a way to teach Lily how to deal with such situations. He also had to deal with the people of the island because of the aftermath of Lily's race, and if this keeps on, he thinks that the dragon people will pull their support from the demon army, and that would be the end of it. While he is sitting there, Lily walks in and immediately gets concerned for him, asking him if he was okay. When Leo says that he is not, she makes him lay down and then runs outside to find some medicine for him, even trying to trade the supplies for the medicine. Leo thinks about how sweet of a child she is, and then he has his eureka moment. He realizes how he can make her mature faster, but not like a groomer, and comes up with a plan. By the time Lily comes back to the tent with the medicine, Leo is looking even more sick. She immediately becomes concerned and asks if he is okay, and he replies that a venomous snake just bit him, and there is no one in this entire area who can heal him. In reality, he was the one who summoned this snake, and he can easily break the effects of the venom whenever he wants. He tells Lily that the only way to save him now is to get a special blend of herbs, which is found on the eastern end of this island. Lily immediately runs outside, and then Leo gets up and breaks the effect of venom from himself before sending his magic eye after her. He has set a bunch of obstacles on the way for Lily to encounter, and she would need the help of her demon comrades to quickly get through them. She runs through the meadows and uses her special ability to convert into a giant divine wolf, which increases her speed and strength. After running for a while, she finally reaches her first obstacle, which is a giant rock obstructing her pathway. Leo has cast invincibility magic on it, which makes the rock impervious to magic attacks. Lily runs up to the rock and starts attacking it, getting more and more frustrated because she can't even scratch it. Leo wants her to realize that she cannot break the stone by herself. He wants her to run to the nearest village where the spellcasters are stationed who can easily break the rock for her. However, the boulder suddenly starts cracking because of Lily's relentless headbutts. Leo is shaken at this sight, but as Lily starts running ahead, he gets a hold of himself. There are still a bunch of obstacles left, and he believes she cannot cross them without asking for help. After that, she runs inside a cave and finds out that it is filled with slimes that are blocking the path. Leo makes use of a bunch of self-replicating slimes that only die when their core is destroyed, but Lily is a beast with demonic abilities, and she just runs into the slimes and tears them to shreds. Leo is dumbstruck by this and decides that he needs to intervene because Lily's peanut-sized brain can't understand what he is teaching her. He disguises himself as a wandering bard and goes after her. Lily finally reaches a cliffside, and there is a deep and wide canyon in front of her, which is too far for her to cover in a jump. She gets confused about what she should do, but that's when Leo intervenes, disguised as a humble bard. When she asks whether he knows any way of crossing the gap, he sings a fire rap song saying that if there is any problem that you cannot seem to solve yourself, make use of the people around you to achieve your goal. She suddenly tells the bard that she now understands what she needs to do, and Leo seems to be happy. However, she got nothing from his lesson, and before he can stop her, she simply jumps off the cliff into the river below. She swims to the other side before climbing her way back up again. She then thanks Leo and goes her own way. A very exhausted Leo decides to head back to the base camp, thinking there is no way he can teach her any better. The next morning, he wakes up and finds out that Lily came back in the night, created a medicine from the herbs, and even fed it to him before putting him to bed. He thanks her and thinks that no matter what, she is one of the sweetest and most loyal people he knows. Just then, Lily produces a piece of paper with a bunch of gibberish written with crayons. Leo takes a look at it and is shocked to see that she has created an entire plan about how to use everyone to the best of their abilities and has divided work amongst the demons to suit them. He asks her how she came up with this plan, and she simply replies that while she was trying to get the herbs, she met a very kind bard who told her about making use of your friends and coworkers, and she suddenly came up with this idea. Leo feels really happy about it and thinks that maybe he was wrong all along and that she's way smarter than he thought she was. Maybe all she needed was someone to directly suggest to her what she should do instead of dropping hints like girls into astrology. The supplies are all taken back to the castle just in time without any further incidents, and Leo reports everything back to Shutina. She is glad that everything went so smoothly and tells him that Echidna has urgently called him to her chambers. Leo gets scared at the thought of going to Echidna's chambers because he is afraid that she will kick him out the moment she gets to know his true identity. He knows that she is as skilled a fighter as Edvard and as skilled a magician as Shutina, so deceiving her would be very difficult, but if he doesn't go instantly, she might think that he is trying to hide something. Even Shutina is scared, as she is the one who granted him the job without informing the queen, but Leo pulls his act together and tells her not to worry, as he will handle Echidna on her own. He changes into his black armor and leaves to meet Echidna in her chambers. He enters the room and is greeted by a drunk and happy Echidna. She exclaims that she really wanted to meet the person who helped reduce the workload on Shutina and also help Lily learn how to work more efficiently. She quickly directs him to a long table, which is loaded with delicacies from all around the world and a bunch of liquor. Leo calmly walks to his spot and sits down before eating some food and drinking alongside Echidna. While having a conversation, however, suddenly Echidna asks Leo why he is wearing a helmet even while drinking and eating, and tells him to remove it. Leo panics a bit and tells her that he is so ugly that girls gouge out their eyes when they see him, which makes it mandatory for him to wear armor all the time. Echidna is too drunk to wait for his consent, and she walks over to him and starts taking his helmet out. Leo immediately tries to change his face to someone else's, but because it all happens so fast, he was only able to think about changing his face into another human's face. This surprises Echidna, as she expected him to be a demon. She then goes back to her seat and they start drinking again. Leo wants to escape this situation as soon as possible, so he starts offering her more and more wine, hoping that she will get dead drunk and probably go to sleep soon. But it turns out that she's a real heavyweight, and after finishing all her glasses, she straight up grabs the bottle itself and starts drinking from it. After that, she tells him that any person is welcome in the demon army, as they don't discriminate against humans or demons. Leo thinks that this might be the time to get her thoughts on him, and he discreetly asks Echidna why she did not allow the hero Leo to join her army if she does not discriminate. The expression on Echidna's face changes immediately, and she starts fuming, talking about how trash the hero is and how she will never let him into her army, no matter what he does. He might work more than 1,000 people, but she is still not letting him in because he will probably destroy the demon army from the inside out. She also says that he was the only reason she wasn't able to acquire the Philosopher's Stone, after which she could have ended her conquest. Leo was surprised by this new information, as he didn't know Echidna was after the Philosopher's Stone, which is said to have unnatural powers like turning barren wasteland into a lush grassland and even making you immortal. However, he believes that most of these rumors are completely fake. He asks her why she doesn't just ask the humans for the Philosopher's Stone, but Echidna replies that they wouldn't understand as humans are selfish and cowardly. She tells him that the real world is unlike the stories that people read in their childhood, in which the hero and the demon queen make a pact and start living happily ever after. Leo asks why she wants the Philosopher's Stone, as she doesn't seem to be a vain person who would want immortality or money. Echidna tells him that the demon world is more unlivable than Chernobyl because there is no sunlight, the water is toxic, the land is barren, and even the air is poisonous. Apart from that, the demon clans continuously fight amongst themselves, causing violent bloodshed for no reason at all. She wants to use the Philosopher's Stone to make the demon world a beautiful place worth living in. Leo is moved by her noble goals and decides that he cannot keep up his act anymore after she has completely opened her heart to him. He is about to reveal his true identity to Echidna, but before he could open his mouth, both Lily and Shutina come running into the room and tell her that the two generals, Edvard and Mearns, have suddenly disappeared. Echidna is shell-shocked at this new development. Both the runaway generals have left behind letters to her. Mearns writes that she is going away on a journey and to not come and look for her, whereas Edvard's letter says that he has disappointed the queen by not being of much help and is going to kill himself. Leo quickly tells Echidna that he will go after Mearns and that they should rush after Edvard, and she agrees. However, when she tries to walk, she starts stumbling because of all the drinking. She pulls out what we call a pro-gamer move and burps fire, sobering up again in the process. Leo quickly runs outside to chase Mearns and follows the faint trail of her magic that leads him to the forest. While he is running, someone suddenly attacks him with knives, but he is able to dodge them. Mearns emerges from the woods and starts attacking Leo, but he defends himself well and then quickly removes his armor to show himself to the assassin. Mearns calms down and they sit down by a log. Leo asks Mearns the reason behind running away, and he learns that apparently Mearns is a boy, and he doesn't like the fact that people think he is a girl. Leo asks the trap why he was trying to run away because of this simple reason and whether he wants to leave the demon army, but Mearns replies that he doesn't. He claims that the demon army is the only place where he felt welcomed and people acknowledged his skills and cared about his feelings as well. The real reason he ran away is because he is just scared because in 3 days he has to interview a bunch of people who are applying for the jobs of spies, and he has come down with a serious case of being a loser introvert. Leo looks at him, trying to understand whether he was kidding or not, but realizes that Mearns is dead serious. He asks the trap about his previous jobs and how he dealt with such situations before, as he used to be the guild master in the past. Mearns replies that he always left the talking and other extroverted things to his assistant, but now there is no one who can do this. So he thought that he would go on a journey and visit a bunch of different villages and talk to all the people there so that he could polish his communication skills. Leo tells him that a person from the demon army trying to talk to a bunch of human villagers is not really a good idea and asks him to come back with him so that they can figure something out. Hearing this, Mearns immediately tries to run away, but Leo had expected this and he has already tied him with the help of a magic chain. Mearns looks at him with contempt but sits down again, asking him what his plan is if he is going so far to stop him. Leo is taken aback by the unexpected question and says they will manage something. Mearns, however, gets into his face and tells him that now that he has stopped him, it is Leo's responsibility to turn him into Michael Scott in 3 days. Leo comes back to the castle alongside Mearns, where he meets up with the girls. He asks about the situation with Edvard and whether he's okay. Echidna replies that they were able to reach him in time. He was trying to perform a self-checkout with a bunch of swords, but the fool didn't know that dragon scales can't be pierced by any normal steel, so he was completely unharmed. Echidna reveals that for now they have put Edvard under the observation of his daughter, who will make sure that he doesn't do anything stupid. Leo tells her that she should deal with Edvard. Meanwhile, he will deal with Mearns' situation. He goes back to the assassin and hatches a plan to make him more socially aware. He gets a small part-time gig at the tavern inside the castle and becomes the waiter alongside Mearns, who of course becomes a waitress because he's a trap. They start serving people, and most of the time Mearns is merely following Leo around, who is doing most of the talking while he listens. He teaches him some of the techniques that might help him become a better talker. He tells him to always listen to what the speaker is saying, try to understand what he wants, and then talk according to that. Leo then tells Mearns to go outside and take orders from the people sitting. He goes ahead, but just then, an unruly group of wolf demons enter the establishment and start creating a scene. Mearns goes ahead and asks them what they want. The leader of the group very crudely replies that they want meat and wine. Mearns asks what kind of meat he would like and suggests giving him a taste of his meat. However, the leader doesn't listen to him and starts harassing him, thinking that he's a weak girl. Mearns has had enough and gets him into an armbar, breaking his arm. He is immediately attacked by the leader's cronies, but he deals with them extremely easily and throws all of them out. After their shift has ended, they both head back to Leo's room, where Leo tells Mearns that he kicked ass in more than one way and he is getting really good at talking to people. This makes Mearns very happy, and he thanks him for the training. Leo, however, is not done with the training and tells the trap to take a mock interview in which he is the applicant, as this way he will learn the fastest. He tells Mearns to ask anything he wants and swears to give an honest answer. Mearns wastes no time in asking him the real reason for which he joined the Demon Queen's army, because he doubts that Leo actually wants to destroy humanity. Leo is dumbfounded by this question, and he tries to joke his way out of it, but the trap keeps pushing him for answers. He asks him why he doesn't have the same amount of hatred for humanity as he does. Mearns was born half demon and half human, so he wasn't really accepted by the human community. Later, he was bought by a giant organization of spies who used him to assassinate targets and treated him like he was a disposable paper straw. Thankfully, he was good at being an assassin, so he was able to survive all these years, but he started to hate humans more than anything else in this world. That is why, when he heard about the Demon Queen Echidna waging war against the humans, he secretly helped her. Once when she was laying siege to a big town, he opened the main door of the town for her army to enter without any resistance. He expected her and her army to slaughter everyone once they got inside, but surprisingly enough, Echidna made sure that the bloodshed was kept to a minimum. Not only that, she arrested all the corrupt mayors and politicians, opening up their vaults and food reserves and distributing them to the poor, starving people of the town. Naturally, the townsmen started respecting Echidna much more than their current rulers, to the point that they threw feasts for her and wished her luck on her journey henceforth. When the trap got to know this, he was very surprised and wanted to see for himself what this queen was like, so he approached Echidna. He then joined her army and very soon became one of her most trusted generals, leading an entire network of spies by himself. However, he always hid his true intention from her, which was the destruction of humankind at any cost. Everything was going smoothly until Leo came around and ended his whole career. He reminds Leo that when he defeated him and was walking away, he told him that he should kill him. Otherwise, he would make sure the entire humanity was exterminated. In response, Leo simply turned around, saying that he should travel to different places and meet different people, as the world is not as bad as it seems to be. Leo was surprised, as this is the first time he has seen Mearns talk so much, so he decides to open up about himself as well. He tells the trap that once upon a time, the place where they currently live was known as Japan, and it was way more modern and technologically advanced than today. Suddenly, one day, the ground split open and a huge number of demons and monsters erupted from the underworld. They wanted the warmth and purity of Earth, but they were not as willing to share it with humans. Slowly, it became an all-out war between humans and demons, but killing demons was not easy, because humans at that time were just as weak as they are now, and it took multiple humans to kill just a single demon. To combat this problem, they decided to put their brains to work and create super soldiers to fight with the demons, and Leo was one of them. These super soldiers were humans modified with demon DNA. They had great powers and skills, but none of them survived apart from Leo himself. He became the sword of humanity and protected them from demons on his own countless times, but as soon as the battle was over, he was completely forgotten. Murns looks at him and asks whether he doesn't feel resentful, especially this time because he gave up everything to save humanity, and all he got in return was hate and coldness. Leo simply tells him that when they told him to leave the kingdom and never come back again, he felt alive and happy to be free from his toxic job. Now humanity is under attack again, he doesn't need to be its hero, and he can simply let those dipshits die. Murns is astonished at this story and asks Leo how long he has been defending humanity. He replies that he stopped counting after 1,000 years, which shocks the trap. Leo adds that he was also the mysterious sage that appeared 100 years ago and defeated the former demon king. Murns is dumbstruck and he decides that he has had enough for a day, so he goes to sleep. The next day, Leo is summoned by Akida, who shows him a letter and tells him that Edvard has decided to step down from his position as the general because he feels like he is not fit to lead the troops. Recently, he had a battle against one of the strongest monsters called a chimera, and he tried to teach his troops how to handle a monster like that, but none of them had ever seen a chimera, let alone fought one, and they were terrified of it. Edvard, however, was all muscles and no brains, and he started calling his soldiers snowflakes. He talked like baby boomers about how he used to deal with such monsters in his sleep when he was their age. He then declared that he would take responsibility for this failure, stepped down as the general, and handed that title over to his daughter Juliet. Akida asks Leo whether he can handle it because she thinks she's making him do a lot of things without consideration. He tells her that he will deal with this problem by himself, and if he needs help, he will let her know. He then goes to meet Edvard's daughter, Juliet, and asks her about the situation. She replies that the problem lies with her father, as he expects everyone to be just as strong as him, which is stupid and impossible to even consider. Edvard was born with the genes to become the strongest demon warrior, but he is delulu that he got it through hard work. That is why he simply thinks that other demons are not working hard enough, and that is creating problems. Julia tells Leo that her father needs to get off his high horse and understand that everyone is built differently and suited for something unique. She respects her dad a lot because, despite his duties, he never left her to get milk, and she wants Leo's help to make him learn his lessons. Leo takes all the information in and decides on a plan. He takes Juliet and Lily with him and reaches a mining site where some demons under Lily had uncovered a machine golem previously. He exclaims that this is the right thing to show Edvard what he is missing because the machine golem is a relic of the past, when humans were more technologically advanced. It was specifically created to defeat strong demons, and even Edvard won't be a match for it. He then programs the golem to appear near the ground where Edvard is training with his soldiers and become invisible to witness their reaction. The golem emerges from the forest and starts walking towards them. The troops are scared and want to run away, but Edvard immediately commands them to attack the golem. Obeying his command, his troops run towards the golem, but shockingly, their weapons are like toothpicks against the golem's armor. They run back to Edvard and tell him that they can't do anything. He tells them to stay on the battlefield, as true soldiers never run back. The demons try to stand their ground, but suddenly the golem stops in its tracks. Leo gets confused as he doesn't know why it did that. However, as the golem starts charging his laser beam and aims it at the demons, he realizes that they are screwed if he doesn't help them. Leo is forced to create a magical barrier immediately to protect them all, as the beam was powerful enough to blast through a mountain. The golem uses the laser again, but Leo is able to create a barrier again, deflecting the attack, but this time the demons all run away, leaving Edvard alone on the battlefield. He refuses to back down and runs straight up to the golem to try to fight it. The golem takes out its laser sword to attack him, but Leo shouts at Edvard to duck, and he is saved just in time. The golem uses his laser beam once again, and Edvard barely dodges, hurting his shoulder in the process. Leo tells Edvard that he is going to guide him, and he has to do exactly as he says. However, his instructions are too complex for the musclehead to understand, and he is constantly on edge. Leo calls him an idiot sandwich for not knowing the basics of dealing with a golem, and Edvard declares that it might be basic information for Leo, but no one else has ever seen an enemy like this. That is what Leo wanted him to realize, and he tells Edward to attack the golem's swords from the sides to break them. Edward follows his instructions and breaks its sword, and then his daughter comes behind him, telling him to attack the golem's torso, as that is its weak point. Edward heeds her advice and stabs it in the torso, incapacitating it, but suddenly, the golem creates a weird sound, which Leo recognizes as the call for backup. Suddenly, 3 more golems from the caves emerge to try and reach the battlefield, but thankfully, Echidna anticipated something like this, and she had already arrived at the caves to take down the 3 golems on her own. She attacks them with her flame magic and causes them to explode into tiny bits and pieces. Afterwards, Leo explains to Edvard that he needs to teach his men the basics, as otherwise they won't be able to do anything. Like he didn't know how to deal with a golem, the troops don't know how to deal with a chimera, which they have never fought before. Leo advises Edvard to be a little more concerned about teaching them the basics so they can follow his advice better. Edvard recognizes his mistake and goes back to his troops, apologizing for how he treated them before and promising to be a better general moving forward. Soon after that, Leo receives good news from Shutina, who informs him that Echidna is going to promote him today. Shutina then reveals that Myrns told the Elite Four about Leo's past, and she wants to know if he lied to get this job. Leo assures her that he will disclose all his secrets to the Demon Queen and the 4 generals today. Shutina trusts him, but she still wants him to not reveal his identity to Echidna before she gives the signal. Suddenly, she notices Leo reading a book, and he tells her that it is one of his favorite stories about a demon named Ibrad, who was the first demon to receive the Nobel Peace Prize for promoting peaceful coexistence between humans and demons. Shutina remarks that even Echidna likes that book, but that fills her with doubts about revealing Leo's identity. Anyway, she leaves to do her job, and Leo looks at the book once again. Just like it happens in biopics, the Ibrad in the book is much more handsome than the real one, whom Leo met during the first war between demons and humans. Leo had pointed his blade at the demon Ibrad, who declared that he was not here to wage war against humans. He insisted that not all demons are bad, and there are some people like him who came here just to escape from the constant wars and bludgeoned in the demon realm. Ibrad told Leo that the Demon King accidentally opened up a portal to the human realm, and he was too curious to let this chance pass. Leo was intrigued by the talkative demon and asked him to tell him more about his journey and observations. He learned that the demon realm was suffering because of bad leadership, and the earth was much more peaceful than it. That is why, when the demon lord opened a portal, the demons decided they would all immigrate to Earth. However, the aggressive ones went first and immediately attacked humans, starting a war. Ibrad said he wanted to return home immediately, but the Demon King closed the portal, leaving everyone to die on Earth. He complained that it is the high-ranking demons who are evil and bottom feeders like him suffer because of it. That time, Leo was vastly different from the present, and he was devoid of any emotions. Despite that, he thought that Ibrad was valuable because he could provide them with a lot of information. That is why he took the demon along to a containment facility instead of killing him. Ibrad was nervous because of all the silence, and he asked Leo what his name was. To his surprise, Leo smiled on hearing his question because no one had ever asked his name before, and he opened up to the demon. He revealed that he is one of the 12 artificial super soldiers created to fight the demons and protect humanity. Ibrad pitied him for this and asked Leo what he would do after he successfully sent the demons back to their world. He replied that he would stand by, waiting for another crisis from which he could save humanity. Ibrad said that is exactly what the problem is, because in times of peace, he would have no reason to exist, but he cannot die of old age like normal humans either. He will be left aimless and confused, wishing for tragedies on Earth so that he can fulfill his job as the hero again and again. His words resonated with Leo, but he assured the demon that he is the weakest of the 12 artificial heroes, and you will surely die in the war against demons. After that, the backup squad arrived there to take Ibrad into custody, and he decided to dedicate his life to bringing peace to demons and humans. As the soldiers took him away, he yelled his goodbye message to Leo and told him that if humanity doesn't meet him in the future, he should do as he pleases. Leo couldn't understand his passionate words back then, but he remembered them and hoped to be free of his duty to protect humanity one day. That was in the year 2060, and as Leo comes back from his nostalgia trip, he thanks Ibrad for the advice he gave him that day. Later, he goes to meet Echidna, disguised as the knight in black armor. He once again remembers Ibrad's wise words and decides to reveal his truth to Echidna and tell her the reasons he is helping her. A few minutes ago, Echidna was in her office preparing the document for Leo's promotion. She trusts him completely and thinks that he is worthy of becoming her 5th general. However, just as she is about to hand him his promotion, a servant comes running and informs Echidna that the portal to the demon world is closing. She is shocked and runs to the portal with all her generals. There she learns that they are running out of catalysts to keep the portal open, and Echidna worries that the recent progress they have made will be wiped clean by this. Thanks to the magic power of Leo and Shutina, they manage to keep the portal open for the time being, and then Echidna calls an emergency meeting to discuss their next step. Lily asks her what the problem is with the portal closing, and she replies that it will take hundreds of years for them to open a second portal if this one is closed. In that time, the demon realm will continue to suffer, and they cannot do anything to help them. That is why she wants to decide their next step within 1 week, because after that, the portal will definitely close. Shutina suggests that they have 2 options. The first option is a full retreat, and they can go back to the demon realm before the portal closes. However, most of their army is made up of demi-humans who live in the human realm, and they cannot take them along. Edward says that they will also have to go their separate ways in that case, but Lily does not want that as they have become good friends just recently. Shutina then puts forward her second suggestion, which is to gather all their strength and immediately attack the human capital to seize the Philosopher's Stone. Everyone thinks that it is not a viable option because their army is too weak right now, and even ordinary humans can deal with them. Echidna still thinks that Leo is an ally of humanity, and she shudders as she thinks about facing him again. She then asks the disguised Leo if he has fought the human hero, and he replies that he has only heard stories about him. Echidna tells him that she fought Leo head-on but lost despite using her full strength. She claims that he is an absolute monster, and if they wage war against humans right now, he will annihilate all of them. Echidna declares that she is not afraid of dying, but she does not want to lead others to their deaths. That is why she decides that they will take option 1 and return to the demon realm after disbanding their army. Echidna declares that she and Shutina will definitely have to return, and everyone is shocked to hear that. Lily wants to tell her that she does not need to worry about Leo because he is on their side now, but Shutina stops her from saying the important bits. Echidna thinks that she is doing this just to prevent other people from objecting to her decision. She walks to the windows and thanks her loyal generals for staying by her side till the end. She holds back her tears as she declares that they will find an alternative way to make the demon realm prosperous, because there is no point in returning there otherwise. Echidna recalls how it was always her dream to use the Philosopher's Stone to change the demon realm into a place worth living, and she worked hard for that dream and became the Demon Queen. However, now she is left with nothing but despair. Leo suddenly takes off his helmet and tells Echidna that she should know that the Philosopher's Stone is not an all-powerful wish-granting device. Rather, it is a relic from a technologically advanced age and uses a micro-black hole to create unlimited energy. He reveals that no one knows how to use the Philosopher's Stone properly, but it is said that there is a manual that tells everything about it in detail. Even humans have been searching for the manual for a very long time, but they have never found it. Leo walks to Echidna, who has not yet seen his face. She remarks that even if they try to negotiate peace with humans to find the manual together, it will be pointless because they would have to steal the Philosopher's Stone from them in the end. She wants to give up on it now, but Leo tells her that there are 2 Philosopher's Stones in the human world, and she only needs 1. Echidna suddenly sees hope, but she has not yet looked at Leo, so he tells her to cut the crap and turn toward him. As soon as she turns towards him, she is left speechless to see him instead of the Black Knight. Leo snaps his fingers and removes the armor too. He first apologizes to Echidna for lying to her all this time because there was no other way he could help her, and then tells her that it is an emergency, so he can't keep on acting any longer. Leo then reveals that the true reason he joined the demon army was to see if the Demon Queen was worthy of wielding the Philosopher's Stone. He claims that if she were unworthy, he would have left immediately, but after he talked with her over dinner and wine, he learned she was indeed worthy. He believes that Echidna has the ability to bring order to the demon realm, and he will give her the Philosopher's Stone to do that, as it will also bring everlasting peace to humanity. Echidna, on the other hand, is processing everything like she has Windows XP installed in her brain. She takes her sweet time to realize that Leo was the Black Knight all along and then starts laughing maniacally that she got played. Leo tells her to upgrade her operating system to understand him quickly, but instead of hearing him out, Echidna attacks him with a powerful fire spell. Later, Leo tells her to learn some new tricks because he's getting bored and she always attacks him in the same manner. Echidna is in no mood to hear him out, but he insists that there was no other way for him to judge her other than by lying on his resume. He says that if he hadn't changed his identity, she wouldn't have talked freely with him, and Echidna says he is damn right. She tells him to go eat some poisonous mushrooms and shit himself to death, and her generals are amazed because she has a flair for visuals. More than the fact that he fooled her, Echidna is furious that Leo was unharmed even after taking her attack point blank. Suddenly, Lily and Shutina cling to her and tell her that Leo has really helped them out. Edward and Mearns also agree, and as everyone keeps praising him, she finally agrees to hear him out. Leo then tells them that the second philosopher's stone is hidden somewhere in the mountains next to them, and a powerful guardian is protecting it. Echidna thinks that if Leo thinks the guardian is powerful, he might be really troublesome. But her generals assure her that they can beat anyone with their teamwork. With that, Leo leads the demon queen and the 4 generals to the snow-capped mountains. Echidna still doesn't trust him completely and asks him if he is sure that the second philosopher's stone is here. He assures her that it will be there, and then the two of them start throwing playground insults at each other. Lily is feeling too cold because she's not used to this weather, but everyone else is relatively fine. As Shutina chants magic to keep her warm, Leo tells the others that the stone is right at the peak in front of them. Echidna walks straight to the peak, and Leo walks beside her, saying that he wants to talk to her about something. He declares that the Philosopher's Stone has been his big project for all these years, and now that he is planning to pass it on to the demons, he wants them to listen to everything he has to say. He first tells Echidna that the stone is not a magical item that can make land fertile overnight or turn water into wine, but an energy generator. He wants the demons to negotiate peace with humans after they have the stone, and then the two races should work together to find the manual to use the Philosopher's Stone. Echidna remarks that until a little while ago, she thought it was impossible to achieve true peace with humans, but thanks to Leo, she knows better now. He tells her that even if peace is possible, it won't come easy, and she declares that she is the strongest demon queen in history and that she will make things work somehow. Leo praises her determination, but Echidna feels that he looks oddly sad for some reason. However, he quickly returns to his normal self and says that the strongest demon queen isn't even a match for him. They enter a snow fight with each other, and the generals are happy that they are getting along so well. After that, Echidna asks Leo how he knows about the mechanical civilization, because that was about 3,000 years ago when the demons invaded the human realm for the first time. He simply tells her that he was born then, and Echidna's brain overheats as she tries to process this information. Leo elaborates and reveals the truth about him being an artificial bioweapon made to fight against demons. He tells her that his specialty is to improve himself in response to the challenges he faces and copy any skills he sees. Leo declares that he is the result of 3,000 years of hard-won experience, and Echidna finally realizes that she has not even scratched the surface of his true strength. She remarks that if she knew about his true strength before, she would have never waged war against humanity, but he jokes that they would not have met in that case. Leo then reveals that all the other artificial heroes died in the war, and only he survived. He has only one objective, which is to protect humanity, and for the longest time, it was his only reason to exist. Leo says that he protected the world over and over again, but in times of peace, he wished for more dangers so that humanity would need his help. He could not enjoy the hard-earned peace, and thought that his existence had become unnecessary. He believes that now he is just holding humanity back by protecting them from everything, because even without his help, they will manage to survive and prosper. He declares that he is losing his mind thinking about it, and if it continues, he might start his villain arc and destroy the world just so that he can save it. He asks Echidna if she knows what she should do in that case, and before she can say anything, the Elite Four come there. They enjoy the scenery for a while and then ask where the powerful guardian is. Leo walks ahead and then declares that there is no guardian, and he has the Philosopher's Stone. He explains that it is situated in his heart and supplies him with infinite power, and if they want it, they must take it from his cold, dead body. Everyone is aghast as they hear this, and then Leo introduces himself to them one final time. He says he is the former hero who defeated the demon queen Echidna, and now he will truly destroy humanity if he is not stopped. No one understands what is happening, and as Shutina tries to approach him, Leo shoots a warning attack to keep her away. He then tells Echidna that if she wants to obtain the Philosopher's Stone and bring peace to both demons and humans, she must stop him. He attacks the demons suddenly, and then tells them to become the heroes who save humanity this time. Echidna suddenly recalls the first time she heard about the hero in her childhood. A bard sang songs of the terrifying hero whose power could not be put into words. He defeated the first demon king, who was a great fighter, and the second demon king, who was a genius wizard. The bard told Echidna that if she ever became the demon queen, she should never engage the hero in combat because that would be the last stunt she would ever pull. The young Echidna was a cocky brat, and she declared that the hero was just a human at the end of the day, and if she met him, she would give him a good old spanking. Now that she looks at the formidable hero in front of her, who has become the very thing he swore to destroy, she wonders how to stop him. No one is able to utter a single word until Echidna asks Leo what the hell he means, and in response, he suddenly attacks her. His relentless strikes push Echidna back, and she keeps on asking him if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. He sends her crashing through the ground, and then with a powerful strike, he shatters the rock behind her, but luckily, Echidna manages to dodge the attack. Leo then mumbles that he was created to save the world, and if the humans don't need him anymore, he will force them to reconsider by wreaking havoc on them. He sends a flying slash towards Lily, who dodges his attack. Akida asks him why he is trying to destroy the very thing he has protected for so long, and he replies that he has kept the Earth safe for thousands of years, so he deserves to destroy it once in a while. Leo laughs like a menace before sending a force wave to knock Echidna off her feet. He attacks her, but Edvard comes to his rescue at the right time and blocks his sword. He pushes Leo back and attacks him, all while telling him to snap out of his foolishness. Shutina also asks him to return to his original self, but he is not ready to listen. Leo pushes Edvard back and tries to stab him, but Shutina uses powerful binding magic and restricts his movements by surrounding him in a dark cage. She compresses the cage to crush him, but Leo breaks free, kicks Edvard in the gut, and sends him flying. He then turns to Shutina and asks her to get serious, because if she wants the Philosopher's Stone, she must kill him. She replies that if his heart truly is the Philosopher's Stone, he should keep helping them just like before. She asks him if all the promises he made to them were lies and if they were never friends to begin with. Leo answers her without showing any sign of emotion and tells her that if they don't kill him, they will all die. He sends tens of magic arrows towards Shutina, but Edvard shields her by taking them all on his back. The arrows explode, dealing him a ton of damage, and Leo attacks him again quickly. This time, Echidna arrives to stop him and take him away. Edvard falls to his knees because of the damage, and Shutina realizes that Leo is serious about killing them. She looks at him, and he yells that he is sick of living so long. He keeps on attacking Echidna as he complains that he is tired of his ability, which allows him to grow endlessly and an infinite lifespan with no purpose other than saving the world. He shouts that even if the humans do not want him as the hero anymore, his mission does not get over. Echidna puts some distance between them, and then Leo asks her who he should hate, the humans who made him or the demons who left them no choice. He creates thousands of magic arrows in the sky as he declares that he will hate everyone and destroy both the human realm and the demon realm. He drops all the magic arrows at the demons at once and levels the entire area. Echidna protected Lily and Murns using a barrier, while Shutina protected Edvard using her barrier. Echidna is at her wit's end because she has realized that Leo is way beyond the level she can reach and wonders how to stop him. She has not fully recovered from their last battle yet and wonders if she should use her trump card already. Even that will be a gamble because that ultimate spell might not work on Leo. Suddenly, Lily gets up and starts begging Leo to stop. She says that it is not like him to harm others needlessly. Lily reminds him that when they were on Largo, he heard her problems and gave her plenty of good advice. She claims that this is her chance to return the favor, and she asks him to share his problems with her so that they can solve things without fighting. Leo seems to be convinced by her words and sheaths his sword, asking Lily if she will really hear out his problems. She wags her tail as she affirms that she will listen to everything on his mind, and Leo tells her that his greatest problem right now is that the heroes he chose are too weak to stop him. He suddenly attacks Lily with 2 magic arrows, shocking everyone. Echidna cannot take it anymore, and she lashes out at Leo, saying that he is not a hero anymore because no hero will attack a defenseless opponent. She angrily charges at him and exchanges powerful blows that create massive shockwaves. In the meantime, Shutina chants a high-level spell and shoots a lightning arrow at Leo. He takes a direct hit, but even that is not enough to do any damage to him. Leo shouts that the heroes he chose to stop him are finally getting serious and tells them to come at him with the intention to kill. Edvard gets back on his feet, saying that he will respect his wishes. He thanks Leo for teaching him to be considerate of the weaknesses of his people and calls him a true man and a true friend. Leo asks him if he still thinks that, and Edvard proudly replies that he still has the utmost respect for him. That is why he wants to stop him at all costs. Edvard unleashes his dragon blood, covering his body in tough scales and growing wings on his back, and Echidna realizes that he is serious now. Edvard charges towards Leo, declaring that he will stop him from going to the dark side as his friend. He deals a powerful blow and then breathes fire at Leo, who easily dodges his attacks. Edvard then leaps at him with another powerful attack, but Leo holds his sword with his bare hands before using an ice spell to freeze his sword and his body. The Dragon General says it is not enough to take him down, and then Leo suddenly uses a powerful fire spell at him. The sudden change in temperature weakens his scales, and then Leo sends him crashing into a nearby rock. Infuriated by this, Echidna and Shutina launch a combined attack at him. Echidna attacks him with her sword and then waits for Shutina to trap Leo in a rocky prison, before hitting him with her powerful fire spell. However, neither Leo nor his clothes have taken the slightest bit of damage, and Echidna realizes that they are screwed. She is unable to move as he walks towards her, but then suddenly, Murns attacks Leo with a sure kill technique, but he dodges it with his ultra instinct, suffering only a minor cut. With the trap assassin by her side, Echidna gains some confidence and tells him to support her as she charges at Leo. She keeps attacking him, and while Leo has all his attention on her, Murns attacks him from behind. Leo blocks his attack too, and then the trap asks him what he truly wants. He replies that he wants to get killed by someone while trying to save the world, but Murns calls it a bluff. The assassin takes to the sky and Leo follows him. There, he tells him that if he really wanted to die while fighting, he would not have joined the demon army, and instead attacked them again. Murns says that he taught everyone about efficiency and whatnot because he was thinking about the future, and anyone who wants to destroy the world won't think so. Leo catches up with him and attacks him, but Murns is not ready to shut up yet. He creates shadow clones to distract him and then yells that Leo doesn't want to destroy the Earth or kill humans. Leo keeps on destroying his clones, and then Murns attacks him from behind, but the moment he touches him, he freezes and falls to the ground. Leo then laughs, saying that 3 of the heroes are already down. He declares that he will destroy the world so that it needs to be saved again, and just then Lily comes charging at him in her white wolf form. He blocks her with one arm and says that she is finally ready to fight. Lily cries that she doesn't want to fight him, but to her, Leo looks so sad that she wants to help him by stopping him. Seeing her cry like that hits Leo where it hurts, and he tells Lily to try and stop him if she wants. She charges at him, but then suddenly, she gets Pikachud and knocked out. At this moment, Echidna realizes that Leo is a monster who is stronger than all of humanity and demonkin put together. She fears that he will really kill her and her friends first, then the humans, and then the demons too. Echidna decides that she cannot falter any longer and decides to use her ultimate spell. She telepathically asks Shutina to hold Leo for 40 seconds, but she feels that she won't last that long against him, neither in battle nor in bed. Despite that, Shutina takes up the mission given to her by her queen with a smile. Echidna thanks her and promises to treat her with the finest wine if they survive, and then she begins working on her spell. She knows the chances are slim, but if she truly understands what Leo is after, she will be able to stop him. As she gathers her magic, she recalls a spell her dad taught her before he gave up the position of the Demon King in her favor. Echidna told her dad that she doesn't need the spells from the caveman era, and he told her that they have no choice in the matter. The spell that he was about to give her was passed down among the Demon Kings for centuries. He told Echidna that the greatest sorcerer among the Demon Kings had developed a spell specifically to defeat the invulnerable hero. The spell was said to be extremely costly and have limited usage, and no Demon King had ever tried it, so its working was uncertain as well. Echidna was disappointed upon hearing that, but she assured her dad that she was strong enough to whoop the hero's ass if she ever met him. Well, she can't be so cocky now as she chants the ultimate spell to take down the hero. Meanwhile, Shutina is fighting Leo and he matches her spell for spell. He counters all of her attacks using the same magic she uses. Shutina lashes out at him, saying that he's not really here to kill him because he didn't kill Edward when he had the chance and even hesitated when Lily offered to help. She sends wind blades towards him, but Leo simply counters them as he starts walking towards her. Shutina screams that the only thing he wants to destroy is himself, because he is afraid that there might come a day when the world doesn't really need him. She attacks him with a fireball, and Leo replies with the same move, causing a huge explosion. As the explosion dies down, he has almost reached Shutina, who shouts that he just wants to die and make the demons the heroes who saved the world from him. She calls him an idiot and asks him if that is the best he can come up with after living for 3,000 years, because that is Loki lame. Leo doesn't care for her words anymore and sends her flying with a punch. It's about to finish her with some hellfire, when suddenly he sees a pillar of light rising from another direction. He turns around and finds that Echidna has completed her special spell. This spell, as her father told her, would consume all of her mana in exchange for disabling the hero's powers for a short interval. He told her that it was called the Hero Binding spell, Anti-Leo, and Echidna shoots the special spell at Leo to defeat him. Dodge it. Echidna thinks that she has wasted the chance created for her by her loyal generals, and it will be their end. To her surprise, Leo does not dodge. Rather, he gives her a sad smile and mumbles a thank you before the spell hits him. He is suddenly sent down the nostalgia rabbit hole after being hit by the attack. When he was being cultivated as a bioweapon along with others, one constant message played on loop outside, asking him to protect humanity from evil. That was the only purpose he was created for. At first, Leo was first and had no problems mindlessly killing the demon invaders. He had a reason to live in that world, as well as some good friends with whom he fought powerful enemies. They managed to bring about world peace, and Leo was so naive back then that he celebrated the peace with normal humans. However, as the peace continued and the world became a safe place, a hero was no longer needed. Leo felt his life was pointless at that time, but one day he saw news about a war and immediately joined it. There were wars among humans, and even though they cooperated with demons for some time, conflicts arose soon. Leo kept on fighting, no matter what kind of war it was, because it made him feel alive. Time passed like that, and as civilization changed, he kept traveling all around the world looking for places to fight. With each enemy he fought, Leo's hyper-reactive skill development made him stronger, and ultimately he became so overpowered that no one could stand against him. He then realized that he truly had become an immortal and unstoppable bioweapon, just as the scientists who created him wanted him to be. However, then came a long-lasting peace once again. Everyone was happy about it, but Leo was not. He realized that a part of him always wishes for the world to be in danger so that he can save it. He became a desperate trouble seeker and prayed that the world would be attacked so that he could save it. It affected his mental health terribly, and one day Leo had an idea that he could plunge the world into chaos himself. He went to an abandoned ruin to start working on his diabolical plan. The bioweapons like him had a safety feature that prevented them from thinking harmful thoughts, but as Leo grew conscious, he was able to bypass that feature. The ruin he went into was, in fact, the lab where he was first created, and he used his magic to restore it to its original state. There, he created the 12 artificial heroes again to serve as the agents of destruction in this world. He could not replicate the Philosopher's Stone at their hearts, but he made them exactly the same in all other terms. Leo asked them to give him a chance to be a hero for this world and told them to destroy humanity. He wanted to save everyone again because he did not want to die just yet, and that could only be possible if he was the hero. However, one day he received news from a soldier that the demons had invaded their kingdom. Leo told him that he would handle everything, and that suddenly made him realize that he was about to do a terrible thing. He ran back to his secret lab and saw that his clone heroes were starting to mature. Leo panicked, thinking that they would really become monsters of his making, and immediately destroyed the facility. At that point, he realized that he was no longer a hero but a demon in the true sense. The message to save humanity began playing in his head over and over again, and he felt that the evil he needed to protect the world from this time was himself. So he came up with a plan to sort out his situation. Soon after that, Lee left to face the Demon Queen and her army. As he fought them, he knew that he had to quit being a hero now. However, there was no one strong enough to defeat him, and that meant he could not rest yet because he wanted to find someone strong and worthy of having the Philosopher's Stone after his death. Then one day, he saw the Demon Queen Akida commanding her soldiers to not harm and plunder the humans needlessly. She told them that they had not come here to wage war, and Leo was left speechless. He kidnapped a demon soldier and interrogated him about the Demon Queen. The demon told him that Akida was an oddball who was invading the human world only to make the demon world a better place. He kidnapped other demons too and learned that even though they thought Akida was odd, they deeply respected her. Not only did she behave honorably, but she joined them on the front lines and commended even the most underrated people in the army. Leo began spying on Akida using his magic eye and felt that she might be the successor he always wanted. More than that, he felt that she could become the one who would finally establish peace between humans and demons. He decided to talk things out with her, but not before saving the world one last time. Leo set out on his final journey as the hero then, facing the 4 generals to find out what they were like. He faced them in battle, learned about their abilities and their character, and eventually came to the demon castle. He defeated everyone in his way before reaching Akida, and then fought her. That was when Leo decided that after defeating the Demon Queen, he would work under her and find out more about her. He did exactly that, and it all led him to this moment where Akida's ultimate spell hits him. Leo screams in pain as the spell binds his power, but Akida has it equally hard, which is what the girl I met in Thailand said. Her body strains under the pressure of restraining an opponent much stronger than her, but even when she is crying tears of blood, she is not ready to let him go. Leo feels that his body is too heavy to move, and all the skills he acquired during his long life have suddenly become useless. He feels like he is the weak bioweapon he was at the beginning and smiles, thinking that Daddy Death is finally coming for him. He looks at Akida, who is trying her best, and can tell that she is confident that her friends will take him down. As she stares at Leo, Akida remembers the first time she heard his name. Since it was the same name as the one in the hero binding spell, she felt something was off. However, the spell was created hundreds of years ago, and she didn't think any human could live that long. When she learned that Leo had lived for 3,000 years, she realized that her first thought was right. She pities the hero who has no friends, no family, and no place to call home. They exchange heartfelt gazes, and Leo admits that in his long years living as a loner, the only thing he wanted was to be acknowledged as a person and not just as a hero. Even now, he doesn't want to die, but he wants someone to save him from his lonesome fate. Leo is glad that he chose Akida and the Elite Four as his final companions, and he trusts that they will be able to bring peace to everyone one day. He had fun working with them, and he wants to enjoy their company some more, and more than anything, he still wants to live. In the meantime, the four generals have gotten back up on their feet, and Echidna commands them to fulfill Leo's last wishes and give him the death a hero deserves. Edvard slashes his chest first, and then Murns throws his knives at him. Lily claws him over his wounds, and Shutina hits him with a powerful lightning spell. Leo realizes this will be enough to kill him, and he smiles as he falls to the ground. Everyone is sad to lose him, and Echidna falls to her knees before she screams in despair. Despite taking so much damage in his weakened state, Leo has still not kicked the bucket yet. He smiles, saying that it feels great to lose after 3,000 years. Everyone walks to him, and they surround him, only to see him smiling. Lily wants to go to his side, but Murns stops her. Echidna asks Leo if he enjoyed acting like a villain, and he replies that he had fun. She complains that she went easy on them on purpose and let the spell hit him. Leo chuckles, saying that he felt bad for them because they were losing pretty badly. Shutina asks him if he was planning to do this from the beginning, and he affirms, saying that everything went according to his plan. Echidna lashes out at him for doing this, because he almost killed all 5 of them for his little bad boy act. Leo tells her to take the Philosopher's Stone in his heart now, because she only has 5 minutes for that. He has cut off the energy supply from the stone to his body temporarily, but he can only do that once, and if the stone is not taken out, he will be revived. Murns asks him if they just need to pull it out, and Leo asks him to try to see if he is confident in his pull-out game. Murns steps ahead, but Lily stops him, saying that she doesn't want anyone to kill Leo. She even screams at Echidna to not kill him and starts crying. Echidna takes one look at her and then at Leo, who is smiling like a mischievous child. She thinks that he was a hero till the very end because he never planned to kill them or destroy the world. He just wanted them to kill him and become the heroes to save both worlds. She asks him if he has any regrets, and Leo tells her that he has none because he successfully deleted his browser history before the fight. Echidna decides that it is time to pull the plug, and Lily starts crying. Leo has one last thing to say, and he apologizes to everyone for all the trouble he has caused them. With that, Echidna kneels by his side, and he wishes everyone farewell. However, instead of pulling the Philosopher's Stone out of his chest, Echidna gives him a bitch-ass slap before stomping on his balls. She declares that it is too much hassle for the Demon Queen to negotiate peace with humans just because a dying hero says so. She then tells Leo to rejoice because she is going to officially appoint him as the ambassador between the human and demon worlds because of his power and wisdom. Leo panics as he hears this because time is running out. He asks Edvard to pull out the stone, but he just laughs at him, saying that he completely agrees with Echidna. He declares that there is no one more suited to being an ambassador than someone who has lived for 3,000 years. Edvard adds that his daughter also likes Leo, so he would like him to stay alive for her sake as well. He kneels before him to reconsider his decision, and Leo calls him a fool. Suddenly, Lily sits on top of him and starts ratting him, asking why he thought he could handle everything all by himself. She says that if he was in trouble, he could talk to her, just like she talked to him before. She suddenly starts crying after that, saying that she can't understand why he wants to die, but she will always be there to help him out when he needs her. Next up is the trap, and Leo hopes that at least he will be able to calmly analyze the situation. However, Murns starts kicking him and reminds him that he was the one who taught him the art of communication. He states that Leo's body language clearly says that he wants to live, and if he wants that so badly, he should just live. He starts kicking him repeatedly, and Leo turns to Shutina for help as only 2 minutes are left before he recovers. Shutina points her staff towards him and asks him to tell her the reason he wants to die. Leo screams that he wants to die to protect humanity. He was not supposed to be able to think harmful thoughts, but he became too self-aware for his own good and overcame that limiter. Shutina tells Leo that if his self-awareness can shut down harmful thought prevention, it can also shut down his sole mission to protect humanity. He says that won't be possible, but she yells at him to try it. Leo has no choice, so he focuses and visits his subconscious mind, where the message to protect humanity from evil is being played on loop. He curses Shutina for asking him to shut it down because he has no idea how to do that. He begs the voices to shut down, and surprisingly they obey. Leo is shocked as he returns to his senses and wonders if he was gaslighting himself the entire time that he had to save the world when he could just turn the mission off. Echidna then tells him that 30 seconds are left before he recovers, and if he wants, she will kill him. Leo suddenly remembers the words of Ibrad, asking him to live his life however he wants after his mission is over. As he recalls his wise words, the wound in his chest quickly heals and tears flow down his eyes. Everyone is happy, and Echidna stretches her hand to him, asking him to quit harrowing and become her underling. Just as the hole in Leo's heart fills up, he takes her hand and gets up. She tells him that he no longer has to be alone now, and then Lily comes running to hug him. Soon after that, Leo is back in the Demon Queen's castle, doing all his regular duties. He visits all the places his friends are in charge of before returning to the throne room, where everyone is wasted after partying all night. Leo says that they really let their guard down sometimes, and Echidna agrees from the couch. She says that if anyone had told her a month ago that she would be drinking with the hero Leo and falling asleep in his presence, she would have sent him to a mental hospital. But now he is her underling and she trusts him fully. Echidna remarks that Leo lied about his reason to join them, as he never wanted to destroy humanity. He just shrugs, and she asks him if he has any regrets because he might not get a chance to die again for centuries. Leo replies that he wants to help Echidna achieve her dreams, and that is why he doesn't regret anything. She asks him if he is fine working under the Demon Queen, and he replies that he is happy to work for her because she is kind and considerate. Leo says that he will do everything in his power so that she never has to act the part of a villain again. He stretches his hand to her, promising that he will do all he can to let her be the kind ruler she is. Echidna laughs at his corny dialogues but takes his hand, and as they are laughing and chatting, Edward's daughter Juliet comes running into the room with bad news. As soon as she sees the Demon Queen and the former hero holding hands, she turns her gaze away, thinking she interrupted their romantic meeting. Echidna gets flustered as she hears this and tells her that there is nothing going on between them. She then asks her to report what she is here for. Juliet tells her that there is unrest in one part of their territory and it may soon turn into a riot. Echidna immediately orders her generals to wake up and tells Edward to take charge of the rioters. Soon after that, an old demon comes looking for Lily because they have to supply some important medicines to the island of Largo. Next up is the white-haired girl who works for Shutina, and she tells her that one of the magic reservoirs is malfunctioning. After her, the lady in charge of the dining hall arrives there and calls Murns to serve as the waitress since they have a lot of customers. The demons keep coming at the door with more and more urgent businesses to handle, and Echidna turns to Leo, telling him to start working. He promises to deal with everything by himself and asks her to go back to her room and take a beauty nap. With that, Leo marches ahead with his new responsibilities now that he has quit being a hero for good. If you like this video, you would love this loser who reincarnates to become the strongest hero.